tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. Well, it feels very auspicious to be here today, and this day that we're going to go and visit the land that will be Clear Mountain Monastery. So the words Clear Mountain Monastery have been around for a while now, and the aspiration and the intention has been there, and the community is here. The power of community and the practice. And now we're, now there's the beginning of the actual physicality, the place itself and the land on which the monastery will grow. And it's exciting. I'm excited about being here and getting to see that today, and to stand on the land and to feel how it feels there. And that it's a forest, a large forest. So the Ajahns trained in the forest tradition in the Ajahn Chah lineage, and I also trained in the forest tradition in the Ajahn Chah lineage. And that forest tradition, it holds many wonderful qualities. So at the heart of it is the Dhamma, the clear possibility of awakening and working towards that awakening, and sharing the Dhamma in a very natural way, also sharing the Dhamma in a sort of free and natural way, which is part of the characteristic of the forest tradition. And the Vinaya is also very central, like the code of conduct and ethical conduct is also held very central. And those two work together to support the awakening of individual beings, and also to support a safe environment within which we can practice. And without the sort of moral framework or the ethical framework, things go a little bit wild, as we may have seen in various other communities over the last few decades. And this sort of the practice and the study of the Dhamma, and then the framework or the container of the Vinaya, they create a really potent kind of crucible almost, within which the defilements of the mind get purified if it's used properly. And the forest itself, to be in a natural environment like that, the forest itself becomes a teacher. It becomes a teacher of the Dhamma. So when we live close to nature, nature starts to teach us. If we look in the right way, it starts to teach us that there's all of the core teachings of the Buddha are right there in nature. The constant changing nature of things, the anicca and the dukkha. Sometimes you get moments where everything's just wonderful, and then it's just so gorgeous, it's beautiful, and then maybe there's too much sun, and then you get sunburn, or it gets too cold, or the mosquitoes come out, and there'll be something that'll happen that brings up the dukkha. So that teaching is there, and then anatta. And I found when we had a forest monastery some years ago in California, I found that when I was with the trees, I didn't have to arise as anybody. The trees were absolutely uninterested in my biology, my bio, my resume, my level of insight, they were just being. And probably, whether I was being harmful or not mattered, but I wasn't, so it was okay. But the trees are not interested in who we are as a person, they're just being. So to be among the trees, we don't have to be anyone, we can just be. And then there's also this beautiful symbiosis that happens with, the breath of our breath being taken in by the trees and used, the carbon dioxide used for nourishment during the daytime, and then producing oxygen that is nourishment for us. So there's this symbiosis going on, and then getting to know the different creatures of the forest. So we learn to peacefully coexist with other creatures, not to dominate, but to have our area that's we can protect our area. This is our domain. Not letting it be completely taken over by other creatures, but at the same time we don't have to dominate the whole forest from the human perspective, but we learn to live in symbiosis, because that is the truth of things. We are nature, and we are part of nature. And when we live in that way, aligned with that truth, then there's harmony, there's joy, there's insight. All of these things can arise. So it's going to be a shift for the Ajahns from being it's still a little bit of nature. We've got the sea there, but being in a more sort of urban environment or suburban environment to being out in the forest. And the wisdom that can come from that, I think at least for some time you're going to be still coming here to the city and giving teachings here at St. Mark's, and here we are in the city, but you're going to get that wisdom of the forest, of wisdom of nature, depth of nature coming here into the city and nourishing you from that place. And it's been very inspiring to see the strengthening of community and the diversity of community and a real living of the fourfold assembly here that is extremely rare in the world. And it's, I guess maybe for many of you it's just normal because it's what you know, but it's very rare. And so I really just deeply rejoice in this. And I deeply rejoice in our Ajahns having this land and this vision and this possibility, and also in all of you who are part of it, because the merits, the good karma of helping to build a monastery is huge. It's a huge and wonderful opportunity, and not so easy to come by actually. So yeah, get involved and be part of it. Even little things, even if you just come and do a little something, you're part of creating that monastery, and that monastery becomes a field for the Dhamma, and potentially for could even be for hundreds of years. Who knows? But it's something that's you put your life into it now, you put your care into it now, and doing that brings immediate joyful results. That was my experience. And then it also is something that can benefit others ongoing, for potentially generations to come. So this is a very special opportunity, very precious and wonderful opportunity. And there's going to be countless opportunities to support in different ways, I'm sure. And and this coming together of the fourfold Sangha, the fourfold assembly. For the bhikkhunis, our places, we're still sort of in the budding phase of our viharas, and we also, want to offer that opportunity to be part of creating, more foundational places for the women also to practice, for the bhikkhunis also to practice. So I'm interested to see how we will grow together actually over the years. And I feel the connection with the Ajahns is really, really heartfelt and very, very siblingly which is rather lovely. And so it's a real blessing. And I didn't really know that when I came up here, that what a sweet and genuine connection that would be. But it's very deep and it's very special. So I'm deeply grateful for you both for being here, and for everyone here actually, all of the Sangha and all of you, everyone who's part of this. It's a very, very special time. It's a rich, it's like a blossoming of the Dhamma. So may we take good care of our own practice and also of this collective field that we're creating together.
3 sadhus. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. 10 Tejassi or Niyyanika?
Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah. Just reconnecting with the guided meditation. This quality of opening our eyes, opening our heart to reality. So that guided meditation was a good opportunity of what it can feel like when we open our eyes, open our heart to another person, to develop these qualities of clear seeing and deep sensing, and the meaningfulness and profundity that can kind of resonate forth from our being when we intentionally put forth that emphasis into just really opening our eyes, opening our heart, developing clearer and clearer seeing, deeper and deeper sensing. Like almost, how can that not awaken our being? The Buddha described that stream entry, the first stage of awakening, is the opening of the Dhamma eye. And the thing with eyes is, they're not just a visual faculty. The eyes are one of the most vulnerable parts of our being. One time I was working with a monk, and to kind of communicate the sensitivity of particularly the heart, I kind of like started putting my finger towards his eye. And I was actually like 2 feet away, and he was like, "Oh, enough of the demonstration." You know, even like, you know, this far away is like, whoa. And oh my, you know, in our hearts are even more sensitive than our physical eyes. Truly. Like there's a very deep tenderness within all of our beings. So this like direction towards stream entry, the opening of the eye of Dhamma, opening of the eye of wisdom, there's also a quality to that of like of a sensitivity, clarity and sensitivity. Just to kind of add to this exercise that we did today, this guided meditation, of really where can that take us? That's like to awakening. This opening our eyes, opening our hearts, developing clearer and clearer seeing, deeper and deeper sensing, clarity and sensitivity. And wow, how that can like re-enliven our being and take us into a dimension of meaningfulness, of profundity in our lives. And just with this new monastery coming forth, even like today, you know, going out to the property, or even right now, it's like when we just like open our eyes, open our heart, all of a sudden like we feel touched at a deeper dimension of our being, potentially. So yeah, sincere gratitude for the guided meditation, and may this new monastery, may everyone's effort lead towards awakening, the opening of the Dhamma eye, the liberation from suffering.
Just looking out across all of you, and I'll look at the camera too, and all those who see the recording. I spoke of the quality of kindly eyes as what would illumine a grove or a cathedral or a forest or a community. And I see a lot of that kindness. I see a lot of that smiling heart coming through the eyes of the Clear Mountain community, the monastics, the board, the supporters, the committees, and those who just passed by on the street here and again. You know, there's a connection that comes up. And having a property, a land to be able to settle into, to settle on, that creates a base of stability to further grow the practice, one's own and one's communities, and to continue the sasana, this dispensation of the Buddha. Now, it's with this kindness, this quality that's rooted in the stability of the earth, that warms the heart, comes out the eyes and your hands as you build kutis, as you care for the land, as you care for each other. And I can guarantee you, it will not always be easy. I've been at several monasteries now at various phases of development, and there are joys, there are immense joys. There are the times to put your back against the tree, to soften, to relax, to be held by the earth. There are the times where you come together, you share in food, you share in the suttas, you share in chanting, and there's an uplift. And there are other times of decision making, of agreements, of accidents. I wish none to occur on the property. But there are the inevitable ouches that occur. And how that is met, that will be the real testament of the practice of the Clear Mountain community. And one suggestion I got from my preceptor early on, I love that we did the Brahmavihara practice, because what she suggested was to take each of those elements from the Brahmaviharas, that metta, the kindness, that love, that warmth, the compassion, to seeing the sorrows and being able to hold and move and respond, the mudita, the celebration, the uplift, the resonance with, and the equipoise, the equanimity, being able to settle and accept and understand this is karma unfolding. And what she suggested was to take those Brahmaviharas and move them through the interaction, just like we did with a partner today, but also with the land, with the natural world, with the way, so as we go onto the land, it's not how do we shape and change it, but how do we see it with the Brahmaviharas? How do we receive it with the Brahmaviharas? How do we hold it with the Brahmaviharas? And then how do we respond from the Brahmaviharas? So that at each step of the creation of the monastery is integrated with the wisdom, the deep settling in the heart, the body, the community, and then the action that comes out of this warmth and wisdom the warmth of the metta through the wisdom of the equanimity. So this is something that is done in our individual practice and is something that will be manifest as you come together to support the monastery. And then the last image I had when I was thinking beforehand of Anuruddha and Nandiyakimala, the sutta that was cited was the Mahagosinga Sutta for the illuminating the grove. The Chula, the second sutta, the lesser sutta of the Gosinga wood, has those three who were friends, bhikkhus practicing together. And they were practicing in a forest that had a gatekeeper that allowed what goodness to come in and to nourish. And so the Buddha came and the gatekeeper said, "Oh no, there are monks here practicing for their well-being." And Anuruddha said, "Oh no, that's our master, please let him in." And so as you enter the property too, there's that Buddha heart within, that seed of awakening within. So bring that with you to the land. It will be welcomed. And that protection of the space will further nourish and cultivate it in you, in the community, and in the monastics you're growing. So not only are you caring for a forest, you're caring for a sangha, and you're caring for the dispensation of these wonderful teachings that they can continue to grow. So sadhus for that. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Handamayam Dhamma Kataya Sadhu Karam Dadamase. Sadhu, 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 anumodami.
Whoa. For those of you who don't know what sadhu means, the classic Ajahn Kovilo translation.
Way to go, everybody. That was great.
Thank you for those beautiful reflections, Venerables. And, there's Ajahn Chah would say the Buddha was born under a tree, he was enlightened under a tree, he died under a tree, or he passed away under a tree. And there was a former monk who he loved to give a hard time to named Paul Brider. And when he was having Paul Brider translate for him, he said, he was kind of giving Paul a hard time about leaving the forest monastery. And he said, "Where was the Buddha enlightened?" And Paul said, "In his heart." And Ajahn Chah said, "Yeah, but where was he sitting?" So we're glad to finally be able to sit under some trees with all of you. And what we want to do now, after hearing from our lovely monastic siblings, is to open up space for the community. So if we can have a mic runner, hold a mic. And do we have a second mic runner we can actually get? Sid, if you could actually take Anandabodhi's mic, and then we can have one mic runner on either side. And if people just want to, if you have anything to share just about what this moment is bringing up for you, kind of just rejoicing together, or any kind of thing you want to kind of bring into the space or speak into the space, raise your hand and we'll get a mic to you. If you can keep it reasonably brief so we have time for many voices into this space. If you're joining on Zoom, you can raise your electronic hand, and it may take us a bit longer to get to you, but we'll see what we can do. And we have about 15 minutes to hold this, to sort of open up this space. So.
All right. I'm just so grateful to be here with you all today in this glorious space, and it just makes me so excited for the glory of the hall at the monastery, and just to be on the land with you all and just feel the same feeling here today there. So that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, people can say their name and where they're from. See if we got Christine over here. probably won't have an organ, honestly. Yeah.
Christine? Hi, I'm Christine from Seattle, and I just want to say I really appreciate the focus that you all always bring to metta and the community. It's really opens my heart. Thank you.
See, we got Miles up front.
Okay, I'll stand up. Hey everyone, I'm Miles. Yeah, for those that don't know me, I live a fairly unconventional lifestyle. I like to make things as difficult as possible for myself and just be stressed out all the time, but these Saturday gatherings really offer a respite for me and just a wonderful place where I get to connect with other humans that I align with in a lot of very important ways, with shared values and just orienting ourselves towards liberation. And so I really appreciate this community and am unbelievably excited to visit the land for my first time today. Sadhu for everyone's support of this community and its flourishing, and I will leave it there. Thank you.
Got Allison over here.
Yes, I'm Allison, and so it's just really what all these years have been is just, I feel like every time, it's just coming together, like what my Ajahn Nisbo dropped in my backyard, and Ajahn Kovilo, and mine and my husband's, and someone asked me if I'm going to miss the Venerables when they leave just before this started, and I said, I don't know. And I think it's because I know on the other side, like, where they're going is where they're meant to be, and everyone will be able to visit and practice. And I just, I feel very fortunate to be here. It's been wonderful to have them there, but I am so excited for them to be on land and for us all to go in a space in the forest and practice. And I really appreciated the reflection, Anandabodhi, that being with a tree, they don't care. They just, just dropping all the personality, all the things down. We all get to go there and just be with a tree who's not going to judge us, and, hopefully no one else is there too, but thank you. I'm just so delighted that there's so many people here and old faces. I'll stop. So just really joyful. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. If we could just pause there, what Allison said, us dropping into her backyard, that's not a metaphor. We actually live in their backyard. We live in two little huts, Allison and her husband Dave. And for those who don't know, about 5 years ago, Dave, who was Buddhist at the time, Allison, who was not Buddhist at the time, hear that there's a monk who is coming to Seattle, and he's looking for a place to stay for about 2.5 weeks. And after some deliberation, like, I don't know, like a grown man living in our backyard, it's weird, if you're not Buddhist, and it's weird in general. But after some deliberation, okay, 2 weeks, what could go wrong? And after 2.5 weeks, kind of got permission, and 2.5 weeks turned into about 5 years and 2 monks. So it's been a sincere blessing and amazing, humbling experience, and it does just a microcosm of the beauty, the Buddha's genius of creating a sangha and laity supporting the sangha. It makes us want to be better monastics, better people, and just the gifts that we've been given, the gift of a place to stay is one which just keeps on giving and allows for all the other gifts which all of us are able to bring into the world. So just, let's do 3 big sadhus for Allison and Dave. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. All right.
We have written down, celebrate Allison and Dave, and Just to be sure. Because, yeah, we do ask permission every now and again that we can keep staying there. We haven't just kind of set up shop. But actually, if we could have Dave and Allison stand. And Dave, would you say something as well?
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to be here with everyone, and I don't really have much to say except what an honor the last 5 years have been, being close to the Ajahns and being a part of this community with all of you. And it's amazing to see where it will go from here. So thank you all for the opportunity. Thank you, Ajahns.
And instead of just sadhus, let's do some Clear Mountain sparkly fingers in this particular instance. Okay. Okay.
Up front.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kate. I was originally from Thailand, but currently I live on the east side of Seattle. And I would like to resonate on what Ayya Anandabodhi said, that you don't know how special this moment is in trying to help build a Thai forest monastery in a foreign land. There are not many of them in the world. And this place is even more special that we have our bhikkhunis around. So we have an area with a fourfold Sangha, which is probably, there's maybe 2 places in the world, Australia and here, probably. Sri Lanka, okay. I'm talking about the Western world. So we are just very blessed that we are in this moment. And as I came from Thailand, the Thai people grew up with the monastics. We know the culture, we know roughly the Dhamma, we know how to do things. But here, Ajahn Kovilo and Ajahn Nisapo really built everything from the ground up, which I really admire your ability to do that, to be able to create these beautiful opportunities in an environment in which people, it was not in your culture to begin with, right? But like we were all learning all this new as the community is growing up. And yeah, I just want to say we are in a very blessed environment. Thank you to the Ajahns, to all the monastics here, and everyone. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. And we'll go Gail.
Hi, my name is Gail. I'm just reflecting on the history of what's happened over almost the last 50 years, and actually before that. Many of you may not know, we're sitting in a cathedral that Ajahn Sumedho served as an altar boy here. And that Ajahn Chah was here in 1979 with Paul Breider and the then Ajahn Pabakaro in tow. And over the years, the extraordinary visits, we had one summer where Ajahn Amaro was here and stayed for several months. And Ajahn Sumedho's been here many times, so looking back on not even thinking that groundwork was being laid at that time, it's extraordinary to see this come to fruition, and the great blessing of having Ajahns Kovilo and Nisabo be here, and not just here, but such extraordinary monastics and human beings that they are, how blessed we are. So I'm full of gratitude, and for our wonderful community, just so many extraordinary people. And last but not least, having the bhikkhunis, it's so touching. And I'm personally very glad that you're here and such a big part of our community and are a part of our community. Sadhu.
Hi, I'm Holly from the Dalles, and I've been part of a Monday morning puja group for the last 12 years online. And we did a little retreat at Minucha in the Gorge about 7 years ago, and at the end of that little retreat we sat and had breakfast, and we said, with all gals, what could we do to bring more bhikkhunis and the Fourfold Sangha up to the Pacific Northwest? And we were just part of this uprising, and here we are today. And as I've come here to be here today, I'm just beyond words.
I think we have Tyler and John over here. And just to say, can we also have Ladawan stand? And Hiran, if he's here? Oh, Ladawan then. Just... Is she here? Oh, in the back. Ladawan received Ajahn Chah when he visited many, many years ago. And he said, didn't you ask if there would be a forest monastery here? And he said, about 20 more years or a little bit longer.
Buddhism will be blossom in the West in 20 years. That's what he said 47 years ago when he visiting Seattle.
Okay, so we're blessed to have...
Yeah, he visiting my house and he stay with Gail at those days.
Okay. It's quite a lineage we have here.
Yes.
Thank you. Sadhu to Ladawan as well. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And sorry, Alex, John.
Hi, my name's John. I'm from Maine, and I've lived in England a long time. I've been involved with Anandabodhi, both as a monk and as a lay supporter. And I'd like to talk a little bit about service, because the whole life of, and how service supports your practice. And it's, we talk about generosity and dana, and how much we learn, the Westerners learn so much from the Asians, because the Asians have the instinct to bring support to the monasteries, and we're all learning about that. And many of the Westerners, we think, what can we get from the Dhamma, from get our minds sorted out and get enlightened and things like that. But the thing that can really support the practice and what you see in the community here is how that spirit of generosity, and when you're starting a monastery, is about giving. What can I give? And all the monks and nuns, I'm sure, will tell you how their life is one of giving themselves, and how much the giving to the practice gives back to you. And it supports your sense of well-being, of happiness. And so you're starting a monastery, all of you. It's not just the monks. The monks are leading, but all of us are giving ourselves in some way or another. Come plant a tree, come help build a kuti, clear a path. Just giving your heart. It's not only about food and financial support. It's about how the whole of the giving is what's going to support your practice. And so it's all about all of us trying to raise the pitch of our practice, and we're all part of this organism of giving. And like I've been involved as a monk and as in Amaravati and as a lay trustee there, and I get so much joy from the giving of myself to it. And it's like you've got, don't hesitate to put yourself forward to give, because you'll get so much back from it.
We've got a volunteer sheet in the back. Actually, Alex, we got...
I think as everyone's been reflecting, I think being in this room is really, wow, it's really great to talk in here. Being in this room feels like I've been reflecting that like there wasn't always this giant building. There was like at one point no Episcopalians in Seattle, and then some priest showed up, and then he built a community, and he built a small log cabin or something, and now we're here, and we're sort of the seeds of that. And I think that it's like really an honor for me to sort of be here with everyone who is the seeds of that. Like there'll be a plaque with Dave and Allison's name on the wall somewhere, and there'll be a plaque with Larry's name on the wall, and you know, there'll be an old picture of all of us somewhere in a room, and at some point no one in that picture will be in that room, but we will be there in the picture. And because we sort of are here now starting planting the seeds. And yeah, it's just really, it's an honor and a privilege to be a part of that.
Thank you, Tyler. And maybe we'll let Juanita be the final voice this morning.
Namaskar, Ajahn. Namaskar. My name is Juanita. I never think that we come to these days. When we met Ajahn, it's only 6 people under the trees in Volunteer Park. And I never think that come from the temple that I used to go in Thailand is Ajahn Chah traditional temple in the village, small temple. And then it never experienced that building or associates with a new way of seeing, practicing, like in the West here. I thought that I come to support a monk who doesn't have anything to eat. That's all I think at first. Never think that I got to build a temple like this. And every week, every step, I learn a lot from being here that I didn't learn from the village the temple in my village. Learn how to see my own titi, the view that been changed. The thing that I think, a precept I have, it should be this way, it should be that way, it should not be this way in the village temple. And here, the see that the attached to the views that I have and reflect on it, and maybe I have it before, it's wrong view, or maybe this understanding is not right. So every day is a learning process. Even yesterday, how we associate with Bhikkhuni, because in my village we don't have Bhikkhuni. So how we them sit, and how to receive them, we have to learn all these things, all of us to learn. And it's no right, no wrong, but how can we, from now on, how can we carry on this to be the sample of the next generation? When we pass away, the next generation will carry on in the develop our way of training here. So we are pioneer with this. So to understand and to learn, do serving here with Ajahn, with Ayas, is my privilege. And I have been learning a lot, even more after leave Thailand and being here together here. I very appreciate Ajahn, appreciate community, appreciate all of these friends. And I really understand now that Kalyana Mitra is the whole of holy life. So that I really understand this. Thank you, Ayah. Thank you.
Yeah, if I get hit by lightning and Ajahn Nisabo gets trampled and eaten by an elk, next abbess, right there. Next generation, Juanita, that's you. Let's get 3 sadhus for everybody, who spoke and those who didn't. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.